Hello, hello! Welcome to Ivana's Norsk Life. Today we will talk about a very exciting topic. It is CV tips and tricks. How many of you have applied for so many positions and never been invited to the interview? Have you ever thought that maybe your CV needs to be updated in some way but you don't know how? Or maybe some of you ask yourself a question, should I pay for the CV and get some professional point of view on that? What is the perfect Norwegian CV? All of these questions I will help you to answer in this video. Let's go! First of all, just for you to understand, I don't recommend you to buy a professional or to pay to a professional person to make your CV, because many companies actually can see this templates, official templates, or how the companies do it, and they right away don't want to have anything with you. And also another spoiler, I know that some of you ask me, what is the perfect Norwegian CV? I can answer this question right away. It is the same as any other country. There is no perfect CV. The CV that we are making, actually making to stand out from other applicants and to showcase us. So this is kind of as we are selling us through the CV based on our own skills and experience. And there is different ways showcasing what you can do, and we are all unique people with unique skills. So that's why what suits one person, it doesn't suit another one. And what suits one company, it doesn't suit another company. So there is no perfect CV, and you need to work on your CVs to make them work for different companies as well. So let's go in more details. When we talk about CV, what is very important to understand that making a CV for academic job is slightly different from making CV for other types or like industry, private businesses. So it's slightly different, and I will show you today why it is different. Again, remember, there is no perfect CV, and every single CV needs to be built for you, job you want to apply for, and be good for the company you're applying for. So sometimes you need to work on it a bit more. So here is example of my two CVs. One is older, where I try to do my best to make it as clean and as clear as possible, because this is the key point of a good CV. A great CV is very clean, easy to read, and showcases exactly what you want to show to people, so they get right away the information that you try to show them. So in this case, this is actually the CV that is older. This is how it looks like. I made it to 1.5 pages, but it's not that bad, actually. It's also readable. It is in Norwegian because I was applying for a PhD and my interview was in Norwegian. So as you can see, I deleted my address, home address, e-post, email address, phone number for security reasons. But what I showcase in two of them, you can see quite differently, right? And actually, this is what is very funny, because in my CV that I used for applying for job in 2020, I actually didn't show my address at all. As you can see here, it's only email and phone number. And as you can see, I showed the GitHub and LinkedIn links, and I show that which type of the position I am applying for and I want to work in. You can list a country. It would be good to list actually a country. It would be important for academia, because in some cases in academia we have projects with some companies who are restricted to work with people from specific countries, and therefore, unfortunately, this is the truth. Not always we can hire people from some specific companies just because the project is with this Norwegian company or international company who does not allow to include people who are from this country. I'm myself from Ukraine, so we also have a couple of companies here who doesn't allow to have any projects or collaborations with the people from the countries where it is a war, and Ukraine is in the list of this. So I actually don't collaborate with that company, even though they use additive manufacturing quite a lot, but I am not allowed to do any projects with them at all, and I cannot come for a visit and see what is inside, and so it's prohibited. So don't feel that it's kind of discriminating you. No, there is actually official rules and some official things that we need to follow up. That's why in academia this one, it is very important, so I wouldn't recommend you to skip it. So this is like more general information, but what I will show you after this is very interesting, because it is about skill set. Yes, I believe, my personal belief is that before showing your education experience, your work experience, it is good to show your skill set. So when it comes to the skill set, as you can see before, I would say that academia based, what I did, I actually separated a bit of a description about myself. I also added some key qualifications or key research topics I'm interested in and I have experience in. And I separated ICT experience, because it's not only programming, and here you can see I show that actually I know Microsoft Office, but in addition, other different tools that I can use, and they can be useful for the academic tasks and jobs. While in the newer version, I actually set much more focus on the technical skills, because from this point to this one was in 2015, and this one it is 2020. I actually improved my skills in programming in Python. I learned C. I started using much more Python stack. I used in different projects databases. MySQL is SQLite. Also, I learned how to do version control, Git and GitHub, and none of these I had. Even though I know how to use LabVIEW, LaTeX, Console, MATLAB, and so on, for the job of data science, it's not relevant skills. Therefore, I don't include them in this description. So you see, my skill set is completely different, even though I'm the same person. Then the next step, education. My projects, and here it is different programming related projects, really in a short way. Since my projects mainly related to machine learning and I did them outside of my work hours, I was doing them for the past 5 years by myself, just by taking different courses, paying for them and doing work. Only the couple of last ones, as you can see, only a couple of the projects that I have, they are related to my work. And anyway, I decided to differentiate the different. So I have experience with deep learning, supervised and unsupervised, machine learning, data mining, and development of processing pipelines. In this case, by just grouping the projects in different groups, I showed that I have an understanding what is the difference between deep learning and supervised and unsupervised machine learning. I know what it is of making data processing pipelines, and the data mining, it's not the same. So in this case, I already showed them some interesting information. So that's why I think like this thinking of how to reshape information about yourself in the way that you have more than it showcase much more what you can do. And in this case, in academia CV, I would list research projects. In this earlier years CV, I try to show more like of the things in the description of my work experience, and I have colleagues and who also do it now, but they do it kind of mix of this part and this, where instead of describing under the job experience what the contributions or like what the tasks they made, they actually name the projects and the companies they worked with in these projects to highlight more the part that I had here. And mainly I went for the work experience, where I highlighted which tasks I had and I was doing. I highlighted them in the way describing some projects because I worked in the university as a research assistant after my master thesis was done before I got a PhD position. So that's why I have some additional related work. But when I was a master student, I also worked part-time. So I was a student assistant in different courses and help different teachers, and this helped me to build my CV. So if you are if you're from United States and you have TA experience, please list there. It will help you a lot. If you want to apply for a PhD in Norway, and remember, PhD in Norway, it is a job. It's not a studentship. It is a job. So you will pay taxes, you will earn salaries, and it will build you 3 years of PhD, gives you actually a possibility of applying for permanent residence permit. That's why I like this option, but it's very hard work to go through a PhD. So I hope that you clearly see that in my newer version of the CV, what is better, that is much cleaner. It has less text. So this is, I've seen many CVs like that. And I can say you that it doesn't matter how much you highlight in bold some stuff. I actually have never read through all of these listings. This is like really just for you to understand. I've received many CVs from the students wanting to be a PhD in our research group with focus on additive manufacturing. And every single time when I opened CV, it was large, it was long, it had so much text. And I never have time to go through that because I'm so busy. And I can imagine the professors who are in who work much longer than me and have much more projects and so on. So that's why I did this time, instead of describing too many details, just keywords about contributions that I did. And then if people want to talk more in details about them, this is what we can do on the interview, right? But you don't need to put it on the CV. So try to find the best words, just highlight the key aspects of your own contributions. Not in general what was project about or something, keywords about your contributions, and try to separate them in a listed manner, as you can see here. And in the same way, I actually didn't list all of my employment for every single position. Actually, in some of the cases, if I saw that it doesn't contribute to the topic I'm applying for, I just deleted them so people do not waste time. So for example, here, it's not all of my jobs that I had. It's only those that I believe showcase some of the projects or some of the contributions that are very useful for the job I'm applying for. So that's why you need to make a one CV that will include all of your job experiences and contributions. And then depending where you're applying, to which company you're applying or which position you're applying for, you need to clean it out and make it smaller, shorter, and highlight only specific contributions that are suitable for this position and not for all of them. So for instance, these two, okay, so here I already have associate professor listed and researcher that is actually a PhD, a researcher after my PhD. So I had one more position in between the PhD and associate professor. So I listed what I was doing here because I think it's very critical to showcase some of this. But as you can see, for instance, this part, it is exactly this part. It's exactly the same information as here. But here I included some small job that I had in Ukraine that is actually not that much related to the academia. I just wanted to have more and more things. That is not good. So compare this part with this one. Which one is easier for you to read and is more clean, right? So the same languages. Yeah, I also added description at which level. This you also could do here, but I decided that it doesn't matter because I can just showcase it on the interview if it's important. What I'm actually missing in this one, I would add it now. It is my hobbies. because one of my interviews, when I said that I like baking and that I like to bring my cakes to the job, they said, "Oh, why you didn't have it on the CV? It would be so cool." So that's why I learned my lesson that your hobbies also explains or showcases who are you beside the job. That is also quite important for Norwegian culture. So this is kind of pattern that I found out for me very useful, and what I've heard from the people who looked at it, that they actually were very much looking on this part first when I applied for the work in the industry, and most of the cases this set of skills was highlighted on the interviews. So that's why it's very critical to do it correctly. I want to thank you very much for being with me until the end. Please write in the comments below your questions. Next week, we will go live and I will answer your questions in a live session. We will talk mainly, we will try to focus on the CV, but also we can cover a bit more PhD topics if you wish. But I will decide the topic very soon. Just write your comments, ask your questions for the live session. See you soon. Bye.